What if I told you the person you dreamed of becoming is still waiting for you? Not gone, not expired, just waiting. Somewhere out there is someone who wanted to learn the piano at 45 but never touched a key. Someone who wanted to start a business at 50 but talked themselves out of it. Someone who wanted to go back to school, write that book, fall in love again, move to a new city, and just froze. Because a little voice whispered, "It's too late for you now." Today, we're going to prove that voice wrong. We're going to look at real stories, real science, and real reasons why your timeline is not broken, even if it doesn't look like everyone else's. By the end of this video, you'll understand why age is a terrible excuse, how your brain is more capable of change than you think, and what small step you can take today to start becoming who you always wanted to be. Let's get into it. Section 1. The Myth of the Deadline. Somewhere along the way, we absorbed an invisible rulebook. Graduate by 22, get married by 30, have your career figured out by 35, retire by 65. Nobody wrote this rulebook. No wise elder handed it down. It just formed slowly. From movies, from comparing ourselves to classmates, from watching other people's highlight reels online. But here's the truth. This rulebook was never real. It was a guess dressed up as a fact. And once you start believing a guess is a fact, it starts controlling your choices. You stop applying for the job because you think you're too old. You stop learning the language because you think your brain can't do it anymore. You stop dreaming because dreaming feels embarrassing past a certain age. Section 2. Your brain disagrees with you. Here's something wonderful. Scientists used to believe the brain stopped changing once you hit adulthood. They were wrong. Research on something called neuroplasticity shows your brain keeps forming new connections your entire life. Musicians who start in their 60s still build new neural pathways. People who take up chess in their 70s still get sharper. Your brain is not a sealed box. It's more like clay that never fully hardens. This means the skill you think you missed your window for is still learnable. The language, the instrument, the craft, the sport. Your brain is ready whenever you decide to show up. Section 3. The Late Bloomers Who Changed History. Let's talk about people who make too late look ridiculous. Vera Wang didn't become a famous fashion designer until she was 40. Before that, she worked at Vogue for years without ever becoming an editor. Julia Child didn't publish her first cookbook until she was almost 50. Before that, she worked for the government and had no cooking show, no fame, nothing. Colonel Sanders was in his 60s, broke, living off Social Security checks when he started franchising his fried chicken recipe. Today, it's Kentucky Fried Chicken in nearly every country on Earth. None of these people had a head start. They had a decision made later than on schedule, but made anyway. And it's not just famous names. Think about the everyday version of this. The neighbor who went back to nursing school in her 40s and now runs a clinic. The uncle who picked up running at 55 and finished his first marathon at 57. The coworker who learned to code on weekends and switched careers at 42. These stories don't make headlines, but they happen constantly, quietly, all around us. You've probably met someone like this and barely noticed, because starting late isn't actually rare. It just feels rare when you're the one standing at the starting line, scared. Section 4. Why we fear starting late. If starting late works, why does it feel so terrifying? Usually it comes down to 3 fears. The fear of looking foolish in front of people younger and more skilled than you. The fear of wasted time. The idea that you should have started years ago, so why bother now? And the fear of failing publicly, as if everyone is watching your every attempt. Here's a reframe for each one. Looking foolish is temporary, but staying stuck is permanent. Wasted time cannot be recovered by waiting even longer. It only compounds the waste. And nobody is actually watching as closely as you imagine. Most people are far too busy worrying about their own timeline to judge yours. Actually, most people watching you start something new feel a quiet spark of admiration, even if they never say it out loud. Somewhere inside them, a small voice is thinking, maybe I could do that too. You starting late doesn't make you look foolish to others. It usually makes you look brave. Section 5. The compound effect of starting now. Imagine two people. One starts learning a skill today at 40. The other keeps waiting for the right time and starts at 45. In 5 years, the first person has 5 years of practice. The second person has 0, plus regret. Time moves forward whether you use it or not. The only choice you actually have is whether those years contain progress or just waiting. This is the compound effect. Small, consistent effort, repeated over months and years, builds into something enormous. It doesn't matter that you started at 35 instead of 25. What matters is that you started at all. Think of it like planting a tree. The best time to plant it was 10 years ago, but the second best time is today. A tree planted today will still be tall in 10 years. A tree that's never planted stays nothing forever, no matter how much time passes around it. Your skills, your business, your health, your relationships, they all work the same way. They don't care how late you started. They only respond to whether you started. Section 6. What becoming who you wanted to be actually means. This isn't about turning into a completely different person overnight. It's about closing the gap between who you are today and who you always sensed you could be. Maybe that means being braver in conversations. Maybe it means finally creating instead of just consuming. Maybe it means being the parent, the friend, the artist, or the professional you always pictured in your head. You don't need permission. You don't need the right age. You need a starting point, however small. Fun fact number 1. Grandma Moses didn't start painting seriously until her 70s, after arthritis stopped her from doing embroidery. She went on to have her paintings displayed in major museums. Fun fact number 2. Studies on adult learners show that older learners often pick up new skills faster in certain areas because they bring pattern recognition and life experience younger learners simply don't have yet. Fun fact number 3. The average successful entrepreneur, according to research from MIT, starts their most successful company around age 45. Not 25, 45. Section 7. The one step that actually matters. You don't need a 5-year plan today. You need one small, honest action. Send the email, open the notebook, sign up for the class, message the person you've been avoiding, save the first $10. None of these steps feel dramatic, but dramatic isn't what changes a life. Consistency does. Pick one thing right now, something related to the person you wanted to become, and give yourself 24 hours to take the smallest possible step toward it. Here's how this applies to your actual life today. Stop measuring yourself against an invisible calendar that somebody else built. Start measuring yourself against yesterday's version of you. If today's you is one step closer than yesterday's you, you're on schedule. Your schedule. The key idea is simple. It's never too late to move toward the version of yourself you've been quietly hoping for, because time will pass either way, so let it pass while you're building something. If this video reminded you that your timeline is still open, hit like, subscribe for more, and tell me in the comments, what's the one thing you've been putting off because you thought it was too late? I read every comment, and I promise you're not the only one. In the next video, we're going deeper into how to actually build new habits at any age without burning out in the first 2 weeks. It's the part everyone skips, and it's the part that decides whether your new start actually sticks. Trust me, you don't want to miss it. See you there.